Avalanches are a beautiful display of natural power. They only become a problem to us when humans get in their way.
Now, I'm assuming that you are a human and that you don't wish to die young in the mountains. Well, in order to achieve this goal, an absolutely key piece of the puzzle is to learn about human psychology.
In order to get anything done in life, we use mental shortcuts to simplify problems. This allows us to make quicker decisions.
These mental shortcuts are sometimes known as heuristics. Unfortunately, when we're recreating in dangerous environments, these mental shortcuts can get us into trouble. This is when they are referred to as heuristic traps. When looking into the backstory of case studies in which people get hurt in the mountains, there are a number of common heuristic traps which pop up again and again. The idea behind this lesson is that if we can understand and remember these heuristic traps, we have a much better chance of avoiding them. So here is a non-exhaustive list of some of the more common and problematic heuristic traps which get skiers and snowboarders into trouble. Number 1, herding. We tend to take bigger risks when we're in a larger group or when we are following the crowd. Pretty much all animals do this, like wildebeest crossing a crocodile-infested river. If other skiers and snowboarders are getting away with riding fresh powder in avalanche terrain, more and more will follow. But sometimes the crocodile won't go for the first wildebeest who crosses, and similarly, backcountry hazards like avalanches, cliffs, and terrain traps might claim the 50th human of the day. Number 2, competition. This overlaps with scarcity. We are often tempted to take more risk when we are competing for fresh tracks in powder snow. Racing for freshies can be a very unhealthy and stressful environment, so much so that many of the wiser and more experienced pros in places like Verbier will purposefully go up later on a powder morning to avoid the manic rush that leads to people taking much more risk than they otherwise would. Number 3, familiarity. We tend to feel more comfortable taking risks in familiar environments. For example, if we have skied a slope when it was stable in the past, we might be more inclined to assume it is stable this time, even if there are fewer clues which tell us so. Number 4, expert halo. When we are with someone who is better at skiing or snowboarding, or more experienced in off-piste safety, or who knows a particular area better, it's tempting to assume that they are making all the right decisions and to follow them without question. It's often the case that this expert isn't even aware that the rest of the group views them in that way. If ever the supposed expert is not making the best decisions, this heuristic trap can lead to trouble. Number 5, social acceptance. This is especially prevalent when skiing or snowboarding with new people or someone you may wish to impress. Being socially accepted within a group may become more important than prioritizing safety, and group members are less inclined to speak up about their reservations. Number 6, sunk costs. For example, we've come this far, we're not going to turn back now. All we have to do is cross this one last slope and we have made it back to safety. Or, we've driven 8 hours to be here. We're not going to just spend the whole trip on 20-degree terrain when there is steep and deep powder on offer. Number 7, goal blindness. This is being tempted to take more risk because of being motivated by a set goal, like skiing a particular slope or reaching a particular summit. A common mistake is to pursue a goal during a particular time window rather than choosing objectives which are suited to the current conditions. Number 8, whatever it takes to get the shot. The added motivation to get photos and videos can spur us on to more risky endeavors, like hucking big cliffs to flat landings or skiing high-consequence terrain in questionable conditions. Do any of these examples sound familiar to you? Your homework is to look over this list and think about your own personality and the personality of your partners. Which of these examples are most relevant? Can you think of any more of these heuristic traps which might get skiers and snowboarders into trouble? Can you think of examples of when you have taken any of these decision-making shortcuts whilst skiing or snowboarding? And perhaps most importantly, what can you do to remember these heuristic traps so that you can avoid them getting you and your partners into trouble in the future?